You're listening to the Just Wingin' It podcast. Because let's be honest, none of us really know what we're doing.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Alex Lines here from Just Wingin' It. And music is a highly collaborative process. It's a process that you may have an initial idea that you kind of jump off and kind of wing it from one direction or another, be it from lyrics, you have an idea for a melody, or you have like one little line. But from there, you kind of transition and wing it. And there's nobody that I know better who knows how to wing it in the realm of music, especially hip hop, is my boy Eric, aka Hilgy Hilgers. How you doing there, man?
I'm doing well, man. Man, glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Dude, you're awesome, man. And we're all just chilling in the quarantine, doing the thing and making art in the quarantine. So,
That's right.
Eric, just talk a little bit about, you've been doing music for some time now, and just tell us a little bit about how you got into music, and just kind of a little bit about what your story is and how you are a guy who's winging it well and who has that true spirit of what it means to wing it, man.
Absolutely, man. I grew up in the Naperville, Aurora area in Illinois, and man, let's see. I'm trying to think how far back I want to go. I guess I'll go straight to my passion for music and video. I was at a church, kind of a mega church in Naperville, and I would think I was 20 years old, 19, 20, and one of the youth guys there said, "Hey, you want to record the Wednesday service?" And I was like, "Me? I can hold the camera? What? That's awesome." So I started recording it, and I remember I asked him after service, I said, "Hey, can I edit this video too? Can you teach me?" And he was like, "Sure." And he taught me the little gist of how to edit, and I fell in love with it. Like creating something that like I can put out into the internet waves that people could be influenced by. I thought that was the coolest thing. So I started, I started making video. Rewind 2 years before that, I started doing hip hop. The reason I got into hip hop was because I was feeling really lost, lonely, depressed in my life. And I would go to Steak and Shake every night. I used to write in my notebook, just like letters to God, just basically like, "Hey, like, God, I'm feeling so like lonely. I don't know what to do in life." And those letters to God ended up becoming raps. And I remember a church asked me to perform one of the songs I made, and I started doing music ever since, doing music and video ever since, all throughout my 20s. So it's taken me places I've never thought, and I just glory to God for opening up all the doors. So that's a really, really compressed short version of everything. There's so many different rabbit trails within that little condensed story, but yeah.
Absolutely. I love the fact that, you have Hilgy Films, you have Hilgy Music, but what I love more than anything, you have Hilgy Enterprises.
Yeah, I figured, I was like, man, like I was doing music, I was DJing, I was doing film, and I was like, wait a second, why do I have 4 different entities? Why don't I just comprise it into one entity, Hilgy Enterprises? So yeah, now I got film, sound, music, and merch. So yeah,
absolutely, man. What I appreciate about you, man, is that you just kind of, like you said in the short part, you just kind of started doing it, and what you kind of did it from the little bit that you got taught, and you kept doing it more and more. And I think the realness of what you have in your heart, you can hear through your music, you can feel through your films. Just talk to me a little bit about your training and how you learn, and just how you kind of build your art, and how do you refine your craft.
Yeah, so it was a combination of when I gave my life to Jesus at 21 and falling in love with video and music. I was like, I need to tell the world about Jesus through 2 avenues, through audio and through film. So in that process, I thought whatever I made, I was like 21, whatever I made, it was the best. I didn't care what anybody thought, but it sucked. It was horrible. It was the worst content ever, but that wasn't the point. The point is I wanted to create it, and I wanted to share Jesus through it. And it's almost like I started YouTubing videos. I messed up so much. I probably failed a million times and just made the worst stuff ever, but I didn't care. I was like, "Hey bro, what do you think about this? Like, critique it. How can I get better?" And they would look at me weird, like, "What? Like, this is horrible, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I know it's horrible, but I know the end goal. I know I'm going to be great in the end. So like, I don't care about how dumb I look now." I would go even in church, I would go up on stage and rap, and like, I was just like, so yeah, like, look at me rap. Like, I did it with like an arrogance. I was like, yeah, but like the heart behind that was like, hey, I just love doing this and I want to portray Jesus. I went about it the wrong way. I went about things so the wrong way. Oh my gosh, I still go about things the wrong way, but I've learned some things over time. And yeah, I guess my process is just do it. Don't stop. Keep making art. Have an end goal. And if anything gets in the way of that goal, just let it fall to the wayside. Like you can't get distracted if you're trying to reach a goal. And yeah, I YouTubed everything. I never went to school for it. I love it. I love hip hop. I love film. I love Jesus. And I want to tell the world about him through those avenues. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to sit in class and to hear like, all right, now you just do this and do. No, I don't want to do that. I want to learn it myself and YouTube it and figure it out myself. Like I'm not knocking school. Just it's not for me. So yeah.
You're just winging it, man. You were just winging it. And failure, you brought up something that we really like to talk about here is failure is sometimes the best teacher. Knowing that you get wrong as not so many people get caught up and is like, oh man, I screwed up. Oh man, it's not perfect. I'm never going to put out my film because I need to keep tweaking it. I keep tweaking it. And I need to, the enemy of the great is, enemy of the good is the great. Phrase normally is the enemy of the great is the good. And I beg to differ. I like to say the enemy of the good is the great, because to me, getting stuff out there and trying and continuing to get better, but you always want it to be perfect before you see people see it, to me is just kind of not the way you should go about. And over time, learning how to get better and being able to be humble enough and say, yo, look at this. Is this garbage? When you have, Christ is coming back, part 45, I mean? Like you're continuing to improve. That's a little inside joke. When you're continuing to make it better and better and better and better each time. And see, that's what I appreciate. I remember having conversations with you where like, I literally was like, I was like, well, name this song. And you literally mashed the keyboard. And that was the name of the song. That was the song that Repzilla picked up.
Yes. You remember that? Dude, yes. I was so tired of like creating all this content. I thought people should see it. And I was like, dude, people don't care about my content. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put a whatever title, like whatever.
And I said, you can't do that. You can't just like mash the keyboard. How people are going to search it? Well, people found it because you took a chance. You winged it. You just tried something. And the naysayers, being this guy, was like, no, you can't do that. And you did what you followed. You followed what you felt you needed to do. And
it's funny.
It got you a good break.
That was the first song that actually kind of like sparked things, was that 80K Elemental P song that like on Repzilla, when they reposted it, I was like, that's what started relationships, and that's what started like collabs, and like that's just crazy. You remember that? That was like the start of it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, hey, we one of the things we like to say around here is is the verse that says, "Do not forsake your humble beginnings." I have a postcard that we just moved to a new house, so I'm still like unpacking and finding things, but I have a postcard that I designed in 2003, which will tell you how old I am, and of True Love Waits, which is like this purity high school thing, and it's like this horrible bevel font, and it's got a rose on it, and I thought like, hey, look, and I remember I probably spent like 20-30 hours designing that thing, and on it, I wrote in marker, years later when I discovered it, do not forsake your humble beginnings. All so the videos and all the designs and all the websites and all the whatevers that I've been blessed to be a part of, do not forsake your humble beginnings. Do not forsake, the things you did to learn a new skill set. So,
so good.
Talk to me, man. Just like when you're when you're trying to, what is your, you're making films or you're making music. How do you just kind of come up in that, how do you come up with your ideas? How do you flow into, do you just kind of wing it? Because I feel like what you do well is you kind of embody that winging it. You just kind of put yourself out there and just kind of do things, be it from, whatever's on your mind, like having a rap about Jason Williams, which I appreciate as a Gen Xer, like, yeah, that's cool right there, like, or having the mash the keyboard song, you know what I mean? So like, just tell me, like, how do you what's your process when you kind of have that nugget and then kind of make it into what you do? How do you kind of wing it from
Yeah.
that core and then make it into like a something?
Ooh, I love that question. Dude, absolutely. So like I believe that God, he's a creative God, created everything, the heavens, earth, everything. And I believe he gives creative ideas to his people. The question is, are we listening? A lot of times we're bogged down with so many things, we're distracted, so we don't hear it. So whenever I get a creative idea in my brain, I immediately stop whatever I'm doing. I write it down on my phone, or I like do a voice recording of like a sound I'm feeling in that moment. And then later that night, I'll go to my studio, AKA here, and then like I'll just start writing and I'll start putting things together. I'll start dreaming of like videos and concepts in my head, and I'll put them on my vision board. And one thing I want to say before I get into the process of everything, it's hard when like you're like, and I know creatives know what I'm talking about. You're flooded with so many ideas to where like you don't get anything done. I want to encourage you to focus on one idea and do not move on until you get it done. I know I probably sound like I'm overboard right here, but it's like you have to focus on that idea. And I'm adamant about it because you're never going to get anything done and you're never going to get content out if you do not focus on that one idea until it's done to completion to the best of your ability. Because it's cool if you come up with ideas, like cool. Nobody cares about if you have ideas and you're not going to do anything about it. Like you have to let the tires hit the pavement and you got to put it out. So anyway, I just want to say that quick
Gary
caveat.
V on this podcast is what I really want to know right now.
Bro, he's one of my, oh my gosh, he's one of my favorites. But anyway, it's my process. So yeah, I take it back to the studio and then I'll just start recording. I record the audio first on Logic. I'll mix it, master it, spend like 7-8 hours. Like I just have to get it down to how I want it to sound. And then I dream of the video concept idea. And then, yeah, I get a team together and I get whatever wardrobe, whatever needed for the video. And I shoot the video no matter how long it takes. And in the meantime, I'm not working on any other ideas. I'm focused on one project, even if it takes 2 months, 3 months, because if I'm focused on other projects while I'm on this one, it's like, this one's not going to come out to the best of its ability. So anyway, I just like focus on one at a time. And I'm really adamant about that. I know some other people, they do things different. Like, yeah, I'm working on 3, 4, 5 tracks. Listen, I got those tracks written down and I got those ideas, but I'm not looking at them until that one's done. So,
yeah, see, to me, what's most important is having a process. You know, it's having to be, and if your process and my process looks different, at least you know how your brain works.
right.
You have a process to be able to, versus trying to, you know, I think a misnomer is to wing it means I don't have any kind of flow or structure or process. I think
Bro.
winging it gives you the flexibility to have to be open to a new idea and try something different, but it doesn't discount your experience or your process of what you have to do, and being humble enough that if there was an opportunity to disjoint it in the middle, you'd be open to that. But I think maybe some people may try to hear just winging it and they're like, oh, well, this guy obviously doesn't know what he's doing, which is true. I don't know what I'm doing. But besides that, it's more, you know, you're just kind of making it up on the fly. You don't have a process. And I'm a very process-oriented person. And I'm definitely enjoy, project management systems and all that, which is not a guy who would have a podcast called Just Winging It. You would expect him to be all like that. But to me, allowing yourself a process, allowing yourself to be focused on one thing gives you the bandwidth to be able to pivot on the fly if you need to.
Yeah, and I literally just cleared out my notes section of like 406 ideas today, and I condensed it down to 5. Literally just before we got on this podcast. So that's funny you say that, because I believe the key to concentration is elimination. And I know it sucks, but it's like I'm not going to do all those ideas. And it's like I took the 5 best and I'm like, okay, these are awesome. These are my babies. Nobody touched these. I'm gonna work on these. So yeah, anyway, I believe in eliminating some things.
No, that's good though, because you have the ability to be open to that. And I think, as I said before, the enemy of the good is the great, which I know flips a common thing on its head, because I think a lot of time as artists we don't want to release it until it's 100%.
Right.
And I think 80% or 90% done on time in the right moment is better than 100%, 110% done late.
Amen.
It's just
That's
my
so
philosophy, anyways. So you and so being able to be flexible in that, to me, is definitely a good thing, man. So
Yeah.
tell me in quarantine, we're all in quarantine now. We're all us creatives. We're all just kind of we're just kind of just winging it and, eating our peanut butter and ramen and not together, hopefully, unless, whatever happens, got to do. But talk to me just what are you doing in the quarantine and what are you doing in this time, that we have to, as artists, I feel like there's a lot of people right now that have a lot of time. And so what are you doing with the time that you have?
Yeah, a lot of Netflix, a lot of All American. I'm just kidding. Well,
The
not
Tiger
really.
King. No.
I was just watching that. I'm on episode 2. It's actually pretty interesting. Anyway, no, I've been working from home for my job Saba, and then at nighttime I've been hanging out with my wife, eating dinner, watching Netflix, hanging with the dogs, and then later I get in the studio and just create. Have a lot of songs lined up for when this quarantine's over, and yeah, I've just been creating and making music. I've been seeking God. We've been praying, reading, just trying to I don't believe this quarantine thing's an accident, man. It's like all the distractions are gone. It's like, now what are we going to do? Are we going to seek God now, or are we going to let the distractions get in the way? But anyway.
It creates a focus for sure that
you
have the distractions of, I'm busy. I have stuff go. All that kind of goes away, and it kind of brings into focus what's most important and being able to, have this crisis to be able to do something and learn how to, and being able to use it to do what the Lord is calling you to do.
Amen. Yeah, dude. Yeah, so I've just been doing that, just at home, working, creating, man, hanging with the dogs.
How much toilet paper do you have?
Bro, so I'm going to share this. I don't care. We got a bidet the other day. We got a bidet. Bro, it works so well. I feel like people are missing out if they don't have it. It's like, oh my gosh, with toilet paper, you're just smearing the poop on your butt. Like the bidet, it gets it all off. And you use like one square of toilet paper after. I'm not even playing. I'm not even trying to.
I lived overseas. I know what's up. So, I feel that. We use cloth diapers. We're trying to do that. So yeah, get that. But hey, if you are a central plumber right now, and you're hearing all these people with toilet paper shortages, maybe on your website promote, hey, dude, I do bidet installs. Come on, let's go. And wing it in that, man. So that's fantastic.
Right. Wing it well.
No shame in that. Wing it well, man. No shame in that, dude.
We got it like a week ago, bro. It worked so well. Not even playing.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate my boy Hilgy joining us today. As I said before, he's got 40 billion social media platforms. Now here's your baseball tee. I'm teeing you up.
Here we go.
Get it.
I bunted it. Oh shoot! I'm just kidding. No.
Hey, bunting. Like right now, there's no baseball, so that's still something.
Right. No, honestly, the biggest two. I'll just say the biggest two right now. It's if you want to see a lot of my work, just type in Hilgy on YouTube, Hilgy, and then also Instagram's the other platform I use. Just Hilgy Music, Hilgy Music on Instagram. I have other ones, but we'll just stick to two. I don't want to confuse you. YouTube, Instagram. Those are my two.
For sure. Sidebar: Do you use TikTok, and have you put your stuff on TikTok? And have you seen like people use your songs for TikTok?
That's great. It's funny you asking me that. Like everything you're asking me, I just literally did it like a week ago. I just created TikTok a week ago and
followed.
Dude, I have one video. I actually use Ty Brazel's song for like this cool video. It's like a cool little video edit. It's like video trick. But I only have one video posted. So it's called TikTok Hilgy, and don't follow that yet until I have some more content.
Well, by the time you hear this podcast, he may have like 100K followers. So or maybe be on the ground floor, man. Be on the ground floor for that increase.
Right.
So anyways, Hilgy, check him out on YouTube. Check him out on Insta. He is the rawest, realest, silliest, 100% comfortable in his skin guy that I know in the hip hop game, and I'm just grateful for him being on the podcast, teaching us what it means to wing it well. And just remember, everybody out there, that you are loved, you are seen, you're not alone during this time, and whatever you're doing, just wing it.